In the first part of the presentation, you've learned that the screen presented to the user to be its graphical interface is displayed by an activity. And we've reviewed some of the components which can be part of the graphical user interface of an activity, such as buttons and text views. These widgets are called views. A graphical user interface is often composed of multiple views. And in this video, I'll show you how you can arrange them to obtain a nice, organized interface. Android allows you to organize the views on the screen in different ways. For instance, if I use a vertical linear layout, my screen is divided into rows, and each row will receive a view in the order I provide them. Let's say I want to create a simple calculator to add two numbers. I'll need first an edit text for the first operand. It goes into the first row. Next, let's add a text view to display the addition sign. It goes into the second row. In the third row, I'll put an edit text to allow the user to enter the second operand. And in the following row, I'll place a button to request the computation. And in the last row, another text view will display the result of the addition. If I use a horizontal layout instead, the screen is divided into columns. So that is what our calculator would look like with this orientation. But let's keep a vertical linear layout for now. One interesting thing about layout is that layouts are in fact views themselves. It means that I can nest one layout within another. For instance, I can use an horizontal linear layout to set my plus sign and the second operand edit text side by side. And next, I can place this horizontal layout in one of the rows of the vertical linear layout. And let's repeat that for the equal sign and the result. It looks a little bit nicer. This tree here represents the structure of the layout of our screen. It's mandatory for your screen to have one and only one root layout, which will contain everything displayed on the screen. Even if there are no limitation on the depth of the hierarchy, having too many layouts nested into each other can have a negative impact on performances, on the time it takes to render your user interface. So instead, you can use another popular layout, the relative layout. It enables you to position your views in relation to each other. For instance, I can position this edit view here in the upper right corner of the screen. Next, I can specify that I want the second operand edit text to be below it, below the first edit text, and the plus sign, which is in the text view, to be to the left. But to the left of what? Is it to the left of this edit text or to the left of this one? I need a way to distinguish between the first edit text and the second edit text. So Android allows you to associate a name or ID to each view. Each time you need to refer to your view, you can use its ID. Now I can specify that my layout is below the first edit text using the ID of the first edit text, and is to the left of the second edit text. So I can specify my layout without ambiguity anymore. The ID must be unique within your application. There are various naming conventions around, but personally I compute the ID of my view using the kind of view followed by something related to the information or action associated with the view. For instance, this view is a button and it triggers the computation. Layouts are views which can contain other views, but there are other views which can act as containers. The radio group, for instance, can hold multiple buttons, radio buttons, and a scroll view containing another view, like a text view, for instance, will add a scroll bar if the view is too large to be displayed in one piece. Okay, so now we have a beautiful interface to present to our user, and it does not turn his back on us anymore. But let's see what happens when he clicks on the OK button. Nothing. So we're losing him again. It's time to add something more to our interface. We'll deal with that in the next video.